All right, it's another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity. We had our first tournament 2021. Harris English took it at the Sentry Tournament of Champions. There's a lot of golf news to break into with Trump Bedminster, the PGA moving on from that, JT this weekend, just the whole tournament. So let's get into it. Okay, so first, let's just go over the tournament. I mean, Harris English, me and Jeek were watching with the conclusion of it. We actually went on Instagram Live with Trevor from South Carolina, and I mean, it was a pretty interesting finish.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you had Harris English, who needed a birdie on 18 to tie. You had Joaquin Niemann kind of just sitting there, like after finishing like a while ago, and didn't even like go to the range or hit. I think he just putted, which was interesting. And obviously, English hits that unreal shot on 18 with I think a 3-iron, hits it to like 4 feet, 3 feet.
Mhm.
Has that putt to win it, and then from there he misses that putt and they go into a playoff. But
yeah, and then
still
Niemann,
crazy.
Niemann put his drive like 30 yards past.
Yeah,
English's?
30 to 40 yards past English. English just kind of hit his drive, it carried, and then it just like stopped in the fairway. And like he had to pretty much lay up his next shot to outside the right side of the green, and that like opened the door for Niemann. Like,
and then Niemann
so
almost
much.
hit it into the
Oh my goodness
stuff.
He like
carried it by like 2
not
yards.
Catch it. He did not catch it well. The sound was awful. Like he could tell that was bad, and like they cut the camera to like just past the green. Like, is that gonna go in the like penalty area? It just carries over, but he got lucky and unlucky at the same time, because he got lucky that carried the penalty area, but he got unlucky that the ball sat down in the high rough.
Yeah,
and like I mean, that would have been a tough up and down from there.
That's the worst feeling too, when you're watching on TV and you're like rooting for like something crazy happening in a playoff or something like that, and then you hear that sound, like it's like a not struck well or not a good shot, and it just like you kind of takes all the momentum out of it.
I mean, Harris English had like the same exact putt as the last hole that he missed, so like it was
kind of
and Niemann also gave him another. Yeah, Niemann gave him another line because he duffed his chip shot because like he couldn't really get it out.
So he just buried it dead center.
And Pat and I were sitting there watching together, and Pat had a bet on Niemann. I had one on Harris English, so that was I think I'm gonna start for all you gamblers out there. If they gets to a playoff, take somebody. It's you, like it gets you like a lot. Like obviously I'm into the playoff because I'm a golf fan, but like if there's a playoff, you should bet on it. It's like -110 both ways usually, and it's kind of fun to root for somebody.
You say that only because you won.
Even if I lost, I think it would have been like more fun to root for and then have like nothing.
Definitely. Watch it. That makes it much more interesting watching a playoff like of a tournament. It might not be the biggest tournament in the world, tournament in the world, but it makes it that much more interesting for sure.
I mean, a lot of the times when you see a playoff, you're rooting for a guy, but like you're not invested into a guy. Like the other guy wins, you're like, oh, okay. I mean,
I lost a whopping 66 cents this week because of that loss. So
we had a day.
The Venmo's open if you want to Venmo me 66 cents as an apology for that that bad hole. But let's move into some of the other news that came from the weekend. First, we'll go Ryan Palmer. Did you guys see this at all?
I didn't see this.
So he like duffed a shot during the third round, and it like was rolling back to him, and he was walking away, and the ball was like kind of headed for a divot, but like not really at all. It was easily stopping like a good 10 feet short at the very least, and he just like brushed away at like a divot with his foot in frustration, and the ball didn't even get there. But the announcers and like even the rules official like talked to him after and were like questioning like why he did that, because like they were saying that it was because he was trying to like improve his lie, but it was kind of ridiculous. He didn't even know that he was like in trouble for anything until he got to the scoring table.
Did they take any strokes away from him?
No, they didn't.
No, yeah. I mean,
because he explained it. He was like, I didn't even know why you guys were asking me about this.
So pretty much
I saw the video. He had to see the video like 2 times.
Pretty much what I understand is that like just kind of like brushed the ground in frustration after hitting a shot, like pretty much duffing a chip or whatever it was, and it was rolling back to him, and like while it was rolling back to him, he kind of just like hit the ground because like he was frustrated, and the PGA like officials thought that he was trying to improve his lie by doing that.
But the ball still stopped way short, short of that. So it was like kind of ridiculous.
That's a little
after
petty,
the round, he was being interviewed on the Golf Channel.
I'm looking at the rule. It says the rule 11.3 says while the ball is in motion, you must not deliberately alter physical conditions or lift or move a loose impediment or movable obstruction to affect where the ball might come to rest.
Yeah, but there was no intent.
I don't know. I think
yeah, there was no the fact that he had no intent, I guess, made it a little bit. And you're right, didn't get a penalty or anything like that. But I think it's funny how he had to watch the video like 3 times and said,
he said,
"What am I looking at?" And
yeah, he said he was talking to the rules official, like what's the issue here?
Personally,
I duffed the chip.
Personally, I believe like in a year or two, like you know how like they changed the rule where you could pat down like spots in front of like on the green, like and like stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think in a couple years they'll change it to that if your ball lands in the divot, you'll be able to like drop like next to it.
I could see that. I could also see them just.
I could see
it as it lies.
I don't know why.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of like amateur tournaments, they like play it up instead of like, you know.
I'm not saying I totally agree with it. I'm just saying that that's something that I could see happening, like potentially them visiting that. I'm not sure they would change it.
I don't think they're gonna change that.
Another thing that happened this weekend was Justin Thomas, after he missed like a 4-foot putt on number 4, I believe, on the third round on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
He said a homophobic slur, which, tough looks for JT. Did seem pretty apologetic after, so I think he'll learn from it, but tough looks overall.
Yeah, I think it would have been different. I think he would have, like, for that situation, I think it would have been different if there were fans around. And he probably wouldn't have said that, but he shouldn't have said it anyways. Yeah, but
exactly.
Like, and you also should know, like the cameras are going to be everywhere.
Yeah, how do you not know that like your mic, like you're definitely like, especially when you're Justin Thomas, it's not like you're Sebastian Newman.
I think you're just caught in the moment
the whole time.
To be honest. I mean, I just think you just get caught in the moment. Like when you hit a bad shot and like all of a sudden you say something, that's probably what happened. But I mean,
he'll
learn from it. I'm sure.
It's still like you, like, I don't know, that in this age, like you can't, like,
especially
you can't be
when
saying that.
You're like a superstar, like you
exactly.
Just, yeah,
right.
But
I mean,
anyway,
he was apologetic, and even after the 4th round, like they talked to him about it. So
it's inexcusable. We'll I'm speechless. It's bad. There's nowhere to put it. Need to be better. Definitely learning experience. Like, he's like, obviously he's very apologetic and still one of the most recognizable players in the world. So hopefully it doesn't come back and bite him.
That'll probably just be like a blip on the radar for him. But more importantly, the PGA just announced that they're moving on from the Trump Bedminster event, like venue for 2022. They're finding somewhere else. And the RNA also said that they pretty much said, yeah, we weren't planning on it anyway. So they're not having anything at Trump Turnberry anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I'd imagine eventually, like maybe Turnberry or something like will no longer have Trump under ownership at some point in like the future, but I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is interesting that they're doing that, and they kind of like people have no idea where this like tournaments can be played. Like the PGA didn't give any.
It's a year away.
Yeah, the PGA didn't really give any hints about where it's going to be. So it will be very interesting to see where they end up moving it. I'm
kind of glad they moved it for obvious reasons, but also I wouldn't want to. I feel like the merch for that tournament would be so just like you'd basically just be buying MAGA merch. Like,
you want to buy that, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just like it wouldn't sell very well. Actually, it might sell well in some markets, but
I don't know. I feel like golf is like that market though.
I feel like it's like for us, it's like it's not, or for like casual golf fans, or even just like us, like I don't know anything about Trump Bedminster. Like if they potentially go to a course that's like maybe like people know better, like it would get more, or it'd be more.
I guess that kind of brings us into the Monday hypothetical. Where do you want to see the 2022 PGA Championship now? And somebody on the Instagram commented this recent, like a couple minutes ago. I'll pull it up. Give him a shout out. Who is it? It was John Beigner. He said, keep it in the same state or the same region. If they kept it in Jersey, they could do Liberty National, which would be pretty cool. Liberty National would be actually very cool for that.
So cool. That'd be awesome.
They also said something like Sabonic, that's Long Island, right?
Long Island, yeah.
Which Sabonic. That same area, that would be cool if they did that, one, because then we could go, hopefully by then, and two, I feel like Long Island golf, like Jersey golf, like that, like on the water is like pretty sick.
No, I have a course, but I know they will never play it here. I mean, if you want to keep it in New Jersey,
Silvermine?
Pine Valley.
Oh, Pine. No, they won't.
They will never play it there. But that would be insane if they played it there.
But so I know Trump Bedminster is in New Jersey, but if it's like in that, you can do that area. You can do, like, if you want to do like a Marion kind of thing, like even like just like.
Isn't that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, but it's like,
but it's kind of Jersey-ish.
Close.
Right.
It's close enough.
Pennsylvania is basically just Jersey. Like,
yeah, it's extension Jersey,
like
but
it kind of is. Or Philadelphia is. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, there's like Ridgewood. They play like a Northern Trust there. Like I feel like they wouldn't do that. Like
no,
if you go down
that course is not a major championship.
No,
course.
But if you go down low further south, you can do like, I don't know, congressional. Like if you wanted to go in DC or something like that, like somewhere that maybe, or Baltusrol even, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, Pat mentioned Baltusrol, which is going under like a huge renovation right now.
Oh, then maybe not.
So I don't know if that would be ready for 2022, but it would be cool to go there after renovation. Like probably a little bit different.
Yeah.
I assume.
I think Liberty National would be a pretty sick one. Now that guy put that out there.
That would be pretty cool. But they do play the Northern Trust there like every other year. That's true.
They do.
Is it every other year? I don't know if it's every other year, but
I think the only option, I saw this on some Twitter account. I forgot what it was. I was just scrolling through Twitter today or yesterday, and I saw someone suggested Southern Hills in Tulsa, where they're hosting senior PGA maybe this year, I think there. So that they would already have everything set up. They'd already have the tents and everything like that. Like they can just like go from one year to the next, like at the same course if they wanted to do that.
Yeah,
that's just. But I also like the idea of keeping in the same general area as like
Oak Hill in upstate New York.
Yeah,
Rochester is a country club or something. I think that's what it's called. Maybe Rochester National. That's a good one.
They probably wouldn't. They could do Bethpage again, but they probably wouldn't.
They wouldn't do that.
No.
I mean, they wouldn't do it, but I'd love to see another.
I wouldn't do it, especially with another shitty one. The year after 2 years after that.
Yeah,
but I like the idea of keeping it the same like geographical location. I think that it's kind of cool for the fans. Like yeah, they can't go to the tournament, or hopefully they can. No,
they'll be able to. I feel like they'll be able to go spring of 2022. I would hope.
But but I think keeping the same area is it's a good move would be a good move by the PGA. Or yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Right. So I guess we can move into the who's hot, who's not segment. We didn't have this last week, but we've had it in the plans. For who's hot, I feel like we can go with Joaquin Niemann. Jake, I'm assuming you put that in there.
Yeah, I mean, like it's obvious if you want to put like Harris English in there, and it is obvious to put Joaquin Niemann in there. But just looking at it, like his previous, like just 2021, like
he won the Houston Open right before the Masters.
Yeah, he won the Houston Open before the Masters, which was.
Did he finish well at the Masters?
Or
did he even play in it?
He didn't play in the Masters.
I was going to say because he probably didn't qualify.
I mean, he obviously finished second last week. He was T12 at the QBE shootout, even though it's a weird event.
It's like
T23 at the Mayakoba, T17 at the Zozo, sixth at the CJ Cup.
The fall swing was really big for him.
So he's been playing well recently. I mean, that kind of is what who's hot is. So
you could argue like from the President's Cup, President's Cup was last year, wasn't it?
Or last December.
Yeah, last December. But you could argue that he's the one who bent he didn't play the greatest during the President's Cup. After it, he might be the one
probably
who's come on the most. Him,
Sung JM and Abe Answer.
Yeah, those three Niemann's he's finishing
But yeah, I would say
played great in the Masters.
He's playing the best out of those three right now.
Yeah, as of right now, he's playing the best. He looks like he could be a stud on tour, and he's so young too. What, he's 22, maybe
22.
Yeah, he's he's gonna be a stud.
He's boys with Sergio.
Yeah,
I think
that makes sense.
What is he up to? 45 or no, 31st in the world.
Yeah,
he's making a move.
He's just gonna keep climbing. Like he's gonna be on those Presidents Cup teams for forever now too.
Yeah,
and then for the who's not of the week, I mean, it should be pretty obvious based off of what just happened. Like, what did Hideki Matsuyama finish at? I think he was like still over par after 3 days.
So Hideki Matsuyama had like a pretty good year coming up to this tournament, but obviously he hasn't played in 2 months since the Masters. And he came into this tournament, I think he finished 4 or 5 under, which was last
4 under, and he was 5 under on Sunday. So
yeah, so he was
one over.
He was like the only golfer over par going into Sunday, I think.
Which is
so
ridiculous. Usually that would just be a week where he got cut, but he really just had to grind out 4 days of bad golf pretty much until Sunday. He played
so I mean, it'll be interesting to watch how he rebounds from that.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Finau also didn't have a great week.
Yeah,
he didn't. He was very up and down this week. He had like one really good day and then like followed by a bad day. Or it started as a bad day, good day, bad day, okay day.
Right.
I mean, you really had to score in this tournament. The winner, what it was, Harris English was 24 under, 25 under.
This is one of those tournaments where you have to play like you have to
Lights
play
out
like
golf.
pretty good golf like every single day. Like if you're scoring, if you're not scoring, like someone else is making an eagle in a par 5, someone else is driving a green. Like it's like you make some of those shots, it changes your round, but.
I mean, the weather wasn't that bad this week. I mean, I think Sunday was probably the worst day as far as the wind, but like, I mean, Thursday through Saturday, they were scoring days.
Yeah, Sunday was a little tougher though.
Yeah.
The leaders weren't playing like lights out like they were the days before. So on that note, we can move into the People's Champ of the Week. So People's Champ of the Week.
Yeah, so I saw this. I was scrolling through, seeing what storylines could be on, and I saw that Bryson nearly blacked out while trying to gain more speed while training with Kyle Berkshire to get more distance on his, or more speed on his club head. And I saw he hasn't gone over 200 miles per hour yet on in a tournament, but he's gone like 211. And he said, there's a quote. I think he said there are points where he's like, I don't know if you experienced runner's high, but he had like tunnel vision. He's like, I just have to stop for a second. I think it's just he's swinging so hard.
That's so psycho. It's just like,
yeah, I know.
Well, yeah. So like a little background on that. I'm sure you guys have seen like the GM Golf and like Kyle Berkshire videos with him.
Yeah.
And like pretty much Kyle Berkshire's way of training long drive is to keep going and going and going until you literally like your body cannot go anymore. So I think that's kind of what Bryson was experiencing, where like he just kept hitting and hitting and hitting and trying to get faster and faster and faster and faster until like literally he blacked out. And it was just like, okay, I gotta sit down now. And that's what Kyle Berkshire said. That was like the only way to get faster.
And this honestly, like, I'm not really like even surprised at this. Like if anyone was gonna do this, it'd be Bryson. Like just go so aggressively hard.
That he just blacks out. Yeah.
That you just black out. Like nobody else in the golf world would do that. Like
I mean, I just love that.
Rory,
like
not JT, nobody.
All of the interviews, like they ask about it, and he like goes very into depth about how like what ball speeds he's trying to get to, and like how Kyle Berkshire went from like this ball speed to this ball speed, which means that he could go from this ball speed to this ball speed. And I just think it's crazy. I mean, I think he said he wanted to get around 220 ball speed on tour, which is crazy.
That event, I mean, that is crazy. I mean, his 8-iron is going 205 right now, which is just ridiculous because like I don't know, that's my like 4-iron pretty much. Yeah. So that's crazy. My personal People's Champ of the Week got to be Joel Damon. I think on Foreplay, he was doing an interview, and he said that his caddy bought the hybrid that he currently uses on tour. Like he wasn't hitting his hybrid well before the one he had. He bought that for the one he currently uses for $40. I think it was like maybe even like 38.
I think it was 44, but I think
44?
someone found the same club online for 38.
Yeah, that's what it was. So like he uses like an old hybrid, like used too, like pre-owned. Imagine being the person that put that up for sale, and you're like, wait, Joel Damon is just crushing the 3 hybrid that I
you're watching
that I
TV
ditched to the side because I couldn't hit it.
That's kind of funny. Like he bought it with like a standard shaft. Obviously he put like his own shaft and stuff on it, but like
I don't think he did.
The way he bought it had like a standard shaft and like bad flex for like.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it was like it wasn't like a stiff shaft, and I still think it's not.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure
we'll have to keep an eye out for
the regular
that.
shaft.
That's literally the definition of like a people's champ. Buying a used club online for $50. That's something like we would do.
I mean,
like,
something
$50 online, and you're using it at a PGA Tour event.
Something kind of related to that. I mean, Scotty Scheffler is like just now replacing like a hybrid that he's been using since he was in high school. I think it was like a Nike, some kind of Nike hybrid, and he's been using it since high school, and he's finally looking for something to replace it with.
I think it did break. Oh, he's tested 10 different 3-woods. Yeah.
My friend Welsh has a Nike 3-wood that's red, and it has like a bright white grip. It's the absolute like coolest 3 hybrid I've ever seen.
Those are so. Clubs are so cool.
I have a Nike Vapor 3-wood sitting in
that thing
the guest bag.
Sucks. That's a terrible.
It's so
club.
bad.
It looks so cool though.
It looks cool.
It does look cool.
Like if you can hit it, looks awesome.
It has the white shaft, which looks kind of cool, but like
I guess.
That's those two. Like that reminds me of like Stenson using like the same like 3-wood, like you see him
because he just loves that club.
Yeah.
I think he moved on from it though, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. I think we talked about that actually.
Tommy Fleetwood like used the Nike up until he got his new deal.
The Nike irons, yeah.
That's crazy. Like people, like even PGA Tour pros, like they have a club they just fall in love with and they use it no matter how outdated it is.
Not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Pat, we should mention our Patrick Cantley journey on.
I forgot.
Sunday.
I was gonna name him as my People's Champ of the Week. So Patrick Cantley, People's Champ of the Week, in a tournament matchup against Webb Simpson. Me and Jeek both had him. Comes down to the last hole. He's one up. All he needs to do is par the hole.
Well, before you get to the last hole, he was like, I think he was like 4 strokes up going into the final round on Webb Simpson, and then Webb Simpson birdied like 4 in a row, and like he was just kind of playing 1 under golf. Right. So he had a 1-stroke lead going on into the 18th hole.
Yes. So he ends up in the left bunker after his second shot, right up against the lip. He hits the ball like a good 60 yards over the green, over the grandstand. Then he puts it to probably
4 feet, 5 feet.
4 feet from there, which is crazy, like over the grandstand, and then drains the par putt to win the tournament matchup.
Because we saw that he sculled the ball over the grandstand. We're like, crap, like he's gonna like bogey this hole. I mean, he might even double bogey the hole. We might lose the bet instead of like it pushing.
It was the witching hour of
ice in his
PGA Tour. It was the witching hour.
I sellied more for that than like if like I don't know, like I don't even know what it was. Like then when a Harris English won, I had like a bet on him as well.
Exactly.
I was kind of hype about Pat Cantley parring the 18th hole. That is like a very birdie hole.
Yeah. So on that note, we can move into the stat of the week, Jeek.
Yeah, so stat of the week this week. We were talking about Bryson DeChambeau in the previous segment, and I was just kind of looking at the stats because I kind of wanted to see how he was doing. And last week, he once again led the field in strokes gained off the tee. No surprise. His long drive last week was 414. He actually did it twice. Cameron Champ actually had longer drives than him. He had a 421-yard drive and a 425-yard drive. But I was looking at the stats for Bryson, and every start of 2021, he's finished top 2 in strokes gained off the tee. So he's not losing any accuracy with the distance that he has, which is kind of crazy. I mean, he was number one in some accuracy. He was number one in driving accuracy. He was number 1 in driving accuracy last week too.
Bryson?
Yeah.
Well, like at Kapalua?
Yeah, but he was also like just looking at the
stats. There's also very wide fairways.
Besides the Masters, he's been number 1 in strokes gained off the tee, number 1 in accuracy as well. So
I didn't realize that. That is crazy.
He's hitting it far. He's hitting it far, and he's hitting it straight.
I thought the strokes gained off the tee would just like he would make up. It would make up so much with his distance that like it wouldn't accuracy. I mean, how it is. Like accuracy won't matter as much for him if you can hit it so far off the tee.
Right. I mean, but he's hitting it. Like I said, he's hitting it far and he's hitting it straight, which is unbelievable.
So right now it's Monday, and we don't have all of the DraftKings salaries and all the bets that we want to give to you guys. So we're gonna do that tomorrow morning. So we're just gonna switch over to the course preview right now. Okay, so we're actually not going to do it tomorrow because all the DraftKings salaries came out while we were recording. So we're back already. Let's move to the course preview with Jeek.
All right, course previews. We have the Sony Open this week at Waialae Country Club in Honolulu. Staying in Hawaii. This week we got a par 70 and it's 7,044 yards. So a lot different than last week. Last week we had a par 73. The course was a little bit longer. We have a lot shorter course this week. There's only 2 par 5s, number 9 and number 18, and those are the holes that you need to play well on. In 2019, there was 56 eagles at this golf course. So the par 5s are the easiest on the course, and you need to score on 9 and 18. A lot more narrow fairways this week than compared to last week. Just 52% of fairways have been hit on average, and the tour average on normal courses is 61%. So that's quite a difference. So you must hit the fairways this week. Average driving distance travel is about 5.5 yards further than the normal PGA Tour course. The wind shouldn't be as bad at this course, but we did say that last year, and the wind was kind of brutal last year. Mm-hmm. But I think that was an outlier.
The weather was pretty bad last year too.
Yeah, they had bad weather. So the final score last year, Cameron Smith ended up winning at 11
over Brendan
under.
Steele, I think, right?
Yeah, at 11
and Ryan
under.
Palmer was up there too, I think.
Yeah. It's usually around 20 under. Justin Thomas won 27 under in 2017. So that's an interesting fact. Some key stats going in this week. Strokes gained approach is going to be pretty important, as well as driving accuracy and hitting the fairways. So if you hit the fairways and approach pretty well, you're in a good spot. I would also look at par 4s gained and eagles gained, because par 4s gained most of the course is par 4s, and then eagles gained, you must do well on those 2 par 5s. And then just going into the field this week, you got Webb Simpson, Colin Morikawa, Harris English, Sungjae Im, Joaquin Niemann, defending champ Cameron Smith. The field's not as good this week. People aren't playing. Much of the top 10's not playing, so you're not.
Vacation time.
JT, no JT, no DJ, no Rahm, no Patrick Reed.
They're probably still in Hawaii though.
Oh, that's what I meant, like vacation time. Yeah, they're on vacation now. Yeah.
So, but you still have a pretty okay field at the top, and then a lot more players at the end, filling out the bottom, including like Vijay Singh and Jim Furyk. So
Vijay Singh,
nice,
to be honest.
Looking at previous winners, you got Cameron Smith last year, Matt Kuchar, Pat Kazire, Justin Thomas, and Fabian Gomez. So a lot of different winners.
Yeah, kind of just like very, very different, like all around, like good, bad, not bad, but like higher up players like Justin Thomas, but also Fabian Gomez. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So on that note, let's move into skins. Let's talk about the favorites first. You got Webb Simpson as the favorite right now. I don't mind. I think that's about accurate, him being the favorite on DraftKings, because last week he played well, even though he basically had no time to prepare, and now he's in the same setting in Hawaii pretty much.
Right. I mean, Pat and I were fading Webb Simpson the whole week last week just because of that whole situation, and it worked out for us. But like it only worked out.
Did not play as bad as we thought, though.
No, it only worked out because the guys that we picked played better than him. But
exactly.
Like he played pretty well last week with all that was going on. So I mean, definitely should be the favorite.
Harris English, like, yeah, sure, he's a favorite because he played really well. But like, I don't see a guy. He could play very well. I just do not see him going back to back in Hawaii. I don't think Hawaii is exactly a place where you go back to back.
I don't remember somebody has done it before, but it's been a while. And I mean, Harris English has been playing really, really well this year. I mean, he has a win at the Sentry, the QBE shootout. He technically won that too, but that's a little different. T5 at the Mayakoba, T6 at the RSM, an off week T28 at the Zozo, and then 10th at the CJ Cup and 4th at the US Open. So he's finishing the top 10 in like almost every event. So
he is hot right now for sure.
So he's definitely rightfully up there as one of the favorites.
Yeah. So let's go into DraftKings. Who wants to start?
I'll go first. So my mid to high guy, I'm gonna go with Russell Henley at 8,700. He's 7th in stroke gained approach this year, and also 7th in driving accuracy, which are 2 of the more important stats this week. That kind of adds up to 6th in strokes gained tee to green. He had a T4 at the Zozo and a T3 at the CJ Cup, which was a little bit earlier this year, but it is part of the 2021 season. So I'm looking for him to keep that form. I believe he did get cut here last year, but he wasn't like playing as well as he is now last year. So he's kind of must have figured something out.
I'll go next. My high mid guy, Abraham Answer at 9,400. Talk about you need to hit the fairways here. Like that one term, I just think of that one term at it was Harbortown, wasn't it? Where he hit like every single fairway and every single green pretty much the whole weekend. He's 8th on tour in driving accuracy. He's in a good run of form, including 4 top 20s in a row dating back to last December and November, including T17 last week. So I like him as a guy who can keep in the fairway and get on the green, make some putts.
Yeah, I like that. So last week I had Cantley, who finished T13. Not bad. He played pretty well the whole tournament. And I had Neiman as my other as my like low mid guy. So pretty good week for me in the DFS category. This week I have Zach Johnson as my high guy, high mid. He's 8,500. Not really breaking the bank on anybody. You can still get a high salary player. Keeps the ball in the fairway. Good approach player and putter. He was great strokes gain approach and putting last year, and doing well this year as well. Even better actually. And just over the past like couple months ish, like even towards the end of the summer, like he's been playing very solid golf. So I like Zach Johnson. And he was in the T20s. I think he was like T22 here last year.
I saw it. I think it was like T28
maybe. Yeah, T28 I think.
T28,
and then and then my low guy is Ches Reavie, 7,400. I think that's pretty good value. I mean, first of all, he's our guy. And 3 years ago, he almost had a 59, but he shot a 61 in the final round 3 years ago. So pretty good history here. He's 29th in strokes gained approach last year, which will never really bode like poorly for you. And he, even though there's more narrow fairways, that shouldn't bother him. He's got he was 7th in driving accuracy last year, so I like him as a low value pick.
I mean, just kind of add on to that, Ches Reavie, I think in the field this week has the 4th most strokes gained at this course in the last 5 years. So that's
not too.
Is that salary? That's a steal. That's an absolute steal. My low pick, not too low, but Emiliano Grillo at 7,900. Finished T21 last year here. He's 14th in strokes gained approach and 35th strokes gained tee to green. So he can hit the ball. I can strike the ball really well. That's what you need to do here. And he was finished T18 at the RSM and T8 at the Mayakoba last month. So he's in decent form as well. I'm all about the form. I like the form of the recent players, even though it was a month ago. I don't care. It's the form. But so I like him as someone who can, if he hits the fairway, I think you'd have a good weak ball striking, hit some greens and get really close.
So my low guy, I'm gonna go for a real value play here. Michael Thompson at 6,900. Last year was 32nd in driving accuracy and 67th in strokes gained putting, which isn't that bad for a player of his caliber. He was T21 last week, which is like smack in the middle of the field. He did have a T15 at the Houston Open in his last event before last week. He had the last year at this tournament he was T38, which isn't terrible. He didn't
especially
get
for
cut.
6,900.
Yeah, exactly. And I see a little bit of a correlation between this event and the RBC Heritage. They're both par 70, like around 7,000 yard courses. So he was T8th at the RBC Heritage. So I'm kind of going to use that and see how that goes with the correlation of those two events.
All right. And then for bets, so the bets section, I'll go first. So my winner
two skins on the table.
Yes, there are 2 skins on the table. We all lost our best bet, which were honestly kind of bad beats. I mean, Tony Finau top 10 just really missed hard, but like Jeek's bet can be in the top Aussie. He was 4 strokes up going the last day.
Yeah, he ended up losing by 1 stroke, I believe, or 2 strokes. So
he needed an eagle on the last hole, but we won't talk about that. And then I had Streb top 30. He was T2 after day 1, but then he just played really bad golf the rest of the tournament.
What about that?
Yeah, I mean, bad. He was just like shooting like a 1 under every day, which is like, still not great for this tournament. And Colin Morikawa was my winner. I mean, I really thought I had it towards the end, like going to the final round. But on that note, I'm going right at it again. Colin Morikawa plus 1,500 this week. I feel like, I was trying to look for somebody low, but I think 1,500 is actually like pretty good value for like a tournament like this, because a lot of the time you'll see like some of the like the big favorites being like plus 650, like DJ was last week. So like 1,500 is still good value. And for all the reasons that Colin Morikawa is good, like he's a great iron player. He was putting actually not great last week, but he keeps it in the fairway. So he's always got a shot. And then my best bet, Sungjae M minus 118 over Matsuyama. I kind of wanted to bet Sungjae M in general going into this tournament. I was thinking about him as a winner. And then I saw the best bet matchup over or the matchup pick over Matsuyama. And Matsuyama just did not have a good week last week. Sure, he finished strong. But I was reading something, I think it was Jason Sobel's article actually, that said Matsuyama's like a high like hitter of the ball, which is not good for like when there's a lot of wind. So that on top of the fact that he just didn't play well last week, I think it's a good time to fade him.
Yeah, I think that was
Sungjae, who finished top 10. He was sixth T6.
We all like that.
So
one.
So I actually picked.
One of us went to that one, saw it, and then like realized Pat had it. So we all like that bet. That's probably I picked.
I actually picked Sungjae M to win at plus 2,000. He finished 16th here last year. Just to kind of add on to this, and 21st the year before. The only 2 times he's played here. It was T5 that he finished last week. And he gained a lot of strokes approach last week. He was 6th in the field last week on strokes gain approach, and that was a strong part of his game last week. He also is 14th in strokes gain off the tee and 39th in strokes gain approach in the year total. And I just really like Sungjae M this week. I think he could win.
Do you know how he is putting? Just curious.
I don't think he's putting fantastic. I think if he gets a little bit better at putting, he's a good putter. But I think if he does putt a little bit better, like if he putted a little bit better last week, you might have saw him up a little bit higher in the leaderboard. But I think that's
something that can change week to week.
Yeah, they could fix week to week. I know last week was pretty slow greens, so we'll see. Cool. And then my best bet, I'm gonna go with a tournament matchup as well. Brendan Todd minus 105 against Matt Kuchar. Matt Kuchar hasn't been on great form to start 2021. I kind of looked at his stats going into this year, and he doesn't really have any very good finishes. So, and Brendan Todd's pretty solid. He usually plays relatively well. He's pretty steady. So,
I mean, he won the QBE shootout, but we won't count
QBE shootout.
Yeah. That's a very Matt Kuchar.
Oh, it definitely is 100%. I'll go my winner, Zach Johnson, plus 4,500. I actually didn't even realize Pat picked him in DFS until you said it. And like as Pat says, he keeps the ball in the fairway. He's a great ball striker. He's 36 in strokes gain approach, 19 in strokes gain total, and he's 10th in strokes gain putting. So if he gets the ball in the fairway, which he usually does, he'll have a great chance to make some birdies. And then my best bet, I'm going to ride the hot hand and go with Joaquin Niemann, top 30. Minus 125. I honestly don't see him. Yeah, I honestly don't see him finishing outside the top 30. I think he'll easily make the cut. Great form, and I think he's a little pissed off after the way last weekend. I think he's ready to make some corrections and make up for that. So he could finish higher, but minus 125 at top 30. I think that's pretty easy.
Pretty good value.
Also, his stats are ridiculous. It's like 13 strokes gain off the tee. 19 strokes gained tee to green, 9 strokes gained total, 45th strokes gained approach. Like he's all around might be one of the hottest players on tour. So I think top 30 is a pretty easy bet, and especially in a not as great field this week.
Right. Just before we move into the next one, I have a question. So obviously minus 125 is fine, but what are we capping the odds at for a best bet? Since now there is some competition here.
200.
Like minus 140.
I'll say minus like 150.
Minus 150 is the lowest you can go. Okay. I agree.
Yeah. Like 200 is like,
because
that's just too low.
Yeah. And like 30 to win 20 is like a bet I would actually do. Like that's what minus 150 would be.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
I like minus 150.
And then last week we forgot to do a first round leader, which I kind of disappointed in because I think Harris English ended up being the first round leader along with Justin Thomas. And those were 2 guys we could have possibly picked. But with that being said, this week I think we're gonna go Ryan Palmer at plus 4,000 unless anybody objects. Just looking at his stats, like just looking at his recent finishes, honestly, he was 4th last week, T10th, 4th, T17th. So those are pretty good finishes last 4 times he's played. And in the first rounds, he's been in the 60s in every round of 2021 except for the U.S. Open, which is the U.S. Open. So
he also finished
like
T4 here. T4 here last year, 67 first round too. I've been first round leader actually.
You could probably dig into the archives and we'd probably have it in our
most likely.
Instagram. Probably yeah. So on that note, let's move into the clubhouse. We're doing a par 3 this week of the 3 stops you'd make if you're doing a cross country golf road trip. It was kind of inspired by some of my friends are doing like a cross country skiing road trip right now. They went to like Chicago, then to like Nebraska, then to Jackson Hole in Wyoming, skiing, and then went to Utah, and now they're going to Aspen.
Where can you go skiing in Chicago?
Oh no, that was just a stop overnight to stay with somebody.
To
stay with somebody because you can't really like drive for 24 hours straight.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's cool.
Just kind of inspired by that. So I'll start. Am I just mapping out? Are we doing?
Yeah, just map out all 3.
Okay. So this is what I was thinking. So I would drive down to Hilton Head to start it out.
Okay.
Assuming we're starting in the Northeast, or you could just assume that I'm starting there. So I'm starting at Hilton Head. It's a great island, just to like get a couple rounds in. Obviously, we went there for spring break. I would go again easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle, I'm going to Paynes Valley. Or whatever.
That's a good one.
That was one of mine.
Where is that again? Missouri?
Yeah, I'm in the Ozarks.
Because the Ozarks are a great place
so cool.
where you could play a lot of good golf. So I feel like that's a nice area to target, like in the middle of the country. And then, I feel like it's pretty obvious that I'd finish it off at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna go with.
Yeah.
But I got other ideas.
Yeah.
I would probably start by going down to Pinehurst, North Carolina, I believe. So we'd start at Pinehurst. There's a lot of courses to play there. That's a good place to be. And then I would take a really, really long road trip to Arizona. And I would probably play the like TPC Scottsdale and like those courses in that area. And then to end it, I was gonna go with Pebble and like that area. Let me think about this. I mean,
by Pebble, I'm assuming that I'm also going to Spyglass and Riviera.
Yeah, it would have to be like, it would have to be that area. I mean, I could make this the longest road trip ever and go all the way up to Oregon and play Bandon Dunes.
Yes.
I think you'd want to hit Bandon probably first. No, you wouldn't. You're right.
It would be going like down, across, and then like up.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a really long road trip, but
you have a terrible route. You have a terrible route.
You kind of stole my route a little bit, so I had to improvise there. But
mine was gonna be originally it was gonna be a little quick trip. Let's start in Chicago, play Medina, Olympia Fields, bunches of Butler is a good course out there. They played PGA Tour events at a bunch of good places. Also, I'm from Chicago, so then go up to Wisconsin. Play Whistling Straits, Erin Hills, Kohler area. Okay. And then I was going to go down the Ozarks, but make it a little quick, like just Chicago, Wisconsin, Missouri. But I think I might just do kind of like what Pat said, like go to Pebble, but play like go to Harding Park, then go down to Pebble, then go down to Torrey Pines and play down there. Like kind of do like that whole like coast of like places you can play like publicly.
Right.
And,
yeah.
Like, so
that'd be dope.
That'd be good. That'd be fun trip. Fun way to end it. Bandon Dunes would be sick though too. I would love to go there.
All right. Okay. So any honorable mention places like that would be cool, like somewhere in like the middle of
Florida,
like the middle.
What's the golf resort that the GM Golf went to?
Oh, TBC Danzante Bay. That's in Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you know what would be a good one? What am I thinking of? What's the place in Florida, Jeek? I'm blanking on the name.
No, it's got a name.
Stream Song.
Yeah,
that would be a nice place to start.
I think another one, Kiwa Island is a nice one to start.
It would be really cool.
Like you said Hilton Head. Kiwa was kind of.
You can do like Hilton Head and Kiwa, and that'd be
like a couple
awesome.
hours.
And go like Savannah, like right there too. Like play the RSM or whatever it was.
Right.
I think Texas could be like
Pines
too. TPC Austin.
Yeah,
whatever.
Texas,
Yeah.
you could go to some
Texas
cool
would be really
places.
cool.
La Quinta Resort.
Yeah.
Isn't that in Arizona?
Yeah, but Jeep
Yeah, that's what I
Arizona.
said. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With Scottsdale and everything.
There's a
like that.
lot of cool. I've never played desert golf. I have.
I mean,
because-
honestly,
I
you
love
could
how-
go to
I love
like
how
not since
none of
I
us said
started playing
Northeast
golf,
either.
actually.
None of us
just
said
desert
Northeast
golf.
either.
You could go to like Vegas as well. Like,
Shadow Creek.
yeah.
True, Vegas would be a nice
That'd be
place
really cool.
to add to the trip.
Cool.
You're right. So yeah, on that note, that's all we got for the week. That was in the clubhouse. So we'll see you next week. I'm not really sure what the tournament is. What do we got next week? Is it
The Career Builder Challenge at PGA West.
And yeah,
at PGA what?
PGA West, where they play like multiple different courses.
Oh, that's
a
what
week.
used to be the American Express, huh?
That's like the La Quinta courses.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, and then we're on to Torrey Pines for the Farmers Insurance at the end of January.
That'll be fun.
So yeah, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, some of these bets hit. See you next Wednesday. Bye.